Our first guest today is Gerard Joab, Executive Director of St Ambrose Housing Aid Center. St Ambrose has served the Baltimore community for more than 50 years by creating and maintaining equal housing opportunities for low and moderate income people. St Ambrose also works to support vibrant neighborhoods in Baltimore City. Please welcome Gerard Joab. Welcome to the show, Gerard.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
How are you?
I am doing well, thank you.
And you're doing great things in the community. So tell us, who gets the benefit of St. Ambrose?
Well, the benefit goes to low and moderate working families, families who are struggling, which tends to be most of our neighbors and our friends here in Baltimore City. People who are struggling to do the right thing, get up and go to work, take care of their kids. We help them. We provide help in the housing area.
And what do people, in your experience, what is the thing people need most? What's at the top of the list? Maybe the top three things that people are looking for.
Well, for us, it's in the housing industry. It's a clean, decent place to call home. If you have that, and you have housing stability, a lot can happen in your life. Housing stability means that your kids will have a stable place to live. They can remain in the same school system or the school district in the same school. Your parents won't have to move to another district. It most likely means if it's affordable enough that you won't have to have two jobs. You'll have one job, and then you can pay a lot of attention to your family. You know, one of the things that we have 129 single-family houses that we rent. Wow. And it's one of the most desired housing that we have, because someone can stay in that house for a very long time. They can raise their kids through in that particular house, and they can remain there. They are in a house. They are more like a family. They can interact with their neighbors in the same way. So housing stability, I think, is the number one thing that can have impact on the rest of the life.
And it's really revolutionary, because I think people, when they have something that they can call their own, it changes, probably the mentality for the whole family. Share some of those stories. I'm sure you get to see that firsthand.
Sure. I'll share you one in particular, and I'll share two aspects of housing stability. The first is we have a young lady who came into our rental program as a young lady with her kids, and she was able to put her kids through elementary school, high school, and college. Wow. and in that same house. And so that the impact that she's had to be there, to afford the house, to give back to her children, to nurture her children all the way through post-graduate education. So that's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have. Now the thing is, she really believes that's her house. Right? She's tied to it. She's tied to the neighborhood. She enjoys the neighborhood. She wants to be there and just loves it, loves it, loves it. About a year ago, we decided to do renovations in the house. And so we came in and did a lot of renovations, really update the house for her. When she moved back in, she called me. She said, "Mr. Joab, look, I like the house. I like what you did. But your people removed my gazebo." A gazebo. Input a gazebo in the backyard. So people really think of it as their home, and it's because you're a renter doesn't necessarily mean that this is not your home. And I think that's a beautiful story, that it was her house, it was her home, is what she called home, and just tied to it. And I think that's what we try to do.
And how do people know if they qualify? Is there a process, a vetting process? How do they begin the process if they're interested?
Yeah, the very first thing is income, if you're income qualified. And they can come into us, you can call us, and you can find our number online, and you can email us, and we're just all over the place in social media. So once you connect with us, you can come in and talk to a counselor about what it is that you need, whether it is a rental house, or you want to purchase a new home, or you're looking for housing counseling, or you're looking for legal services. And we have a nifty program called home sharing. And home sharing is started out as an aging in place program 30 years ago. And what the concept was that we would find a senior person who owns their home, and typically it was a widow who own their own home wanted to stay in their own home. And then we vetted both the home provider, the individual with the home, and a home sharer, someone who was looking for stable housing. And we just made the connection. So we were Airbnb before Airbnb. And we make that connection, and we bring the two parties together, and they decide some of the things, how much, what the stipend would be. Are they going to pay something for staying there? Are they going to provide services to the individual? Are they going to provide help for them? So we just provide a match and let them go.
I love it.
So here are some of the things on that. We've been running the program for 30 years. Our longest home sharer and home provider relationship is just over 20 years. The same two people have been living together for over 20 years. A home provider stays in our program an average of 8 years, the individual with the home. And then and a home seeker will stay in our house an average about 18 months. So
Okay.
over a course of an 8-year period, you can get five or 4 or 5 different people in the same house. So it is a different housing, affordable housing solution, and it's something that we need more of. And shared housing is something that is across the country, and ours is a home sharing program.
We have more information coming up. Let's take a break with Gerard. We'll be right back on Game Changers. And welcome back to Game Changers. We're talking to Gerard Joab, Executive Director of the St Ambrose Housing Aid Center. And so, Gerard, I understand you have a 50th celebration coming up?
We are turning 50. And look, I got to tell you, since I'm over 50.
I was going to say, you look a day over 27.
50 years of anything, particularly if it's something positive, is a really good thing. So it is exciting for us at St Ambrose. I've been here helping people in our community for 50 years.
That's amazing. Well, tell us about the event.
Well, we started about a year ago, and we have done a number of storytelling, and it's been tremendous for me to see the people who were affected by whose lives were affected by St. Ambrose, by our organization. And folks have come out over the last year and tell their St. Ambrose stories. And if you want to see it, you can visit our website, stambrose.org, and you can click on and see some of the stories that folks had to tell. I think one of the ones was a 90-year-old person who came and shared their story. I think that's a tremendous one to see. And then there are young people who told about their stories about their connection with us. So that's been terrific. We will have a number of other activities throughout the year. We'll push out a lot of things about who we are and what we're doing. But the most important will occur on April 28th. We'll have a 50-year celebration. It's at Columbus Center. Go on the website, check us out, and see how you can get there for folks who are listening and watching. And we would love to see as many people as we can come out and join in this celebration with us.
So, Gerard, tell us about your counseling services for finances.
Well, that's a great question, because a lot of our clients come to us needing one form or another of counseling, housing counseling. The fun part is that we provide first-time homeowner counseling. And that's great, because people are energized about buying a house, and that's terrific. And then we also provide foreclosure counseling for folks who are in jeopardy of losing their home. The unique thing that we provide is that we have a legal counseling service within the agency. So someone who has a foreclosure issue can come and see one of our counselors, and that very day can be moved to an attorney if you need an attorney urgently. And there is no waiting period to go to an attorney. So it's one of the unique things that we provide. And then we do a lot of things in financial counseling to help people either become a better renter, a better homeowner, deal with your services, your finances, save for your children's education, and those type of things.
I just think it's amazing, because that is the thing. There's information out there, but where to get it and how to use it is always the challenge. And you guys are, basically solving those issues. It's amazing.
And that's right. And we believe that anybody who is actually trying to buy a house, or looking to buy a house, wanting to know, please get counseling. Go to a counseling agency and find out what it is, the information, and how you can get help.
We were talking off air, and we were just talking about how charming Baltimore is. And I know for people to get a chance to, have their housing situation be what they want it to be with your assistance has to be, we've talked about it's game changing, but it just feels great, because again, people love the city, they love Baltimore, and to have a piece of it must just be amazing.
Yes, and that's one of the attractions for what we do. The folks that we work with, this is one of the things that we like to do. We like to help people, and we like to see that changes occur in their lives. I think the most difficult thing for me is finding somebody or seeing somebody or talking to somebody that we cannot help. Either we don't have those programs and we can't help them, or their situation is so dire they need help that we don't provide. And I think that's the hardest part of my job, is to tell somebody that we don't have the resources to help you, we don't have what you need to help you. And we try our best to point them in that direction, but that's the hardest part. Helping the people or finding resources to do what we do, I think it's a joy for us, and not that it's easy, it's difficult as well, but at least we know we can find some solutions or find the resources to get to those people's need. It's the folks that we cannot help, I think, is always the hardest.
And it's interesting, when you were talking about all the services, it's weird. I kept seeing, for some reason, I kept seeing a lot of older people, and I kept seeing the kids, and it's interesting. It's like when it comes to dads and guys, I didn't see them as much, but I'm sure you serve a lot of men also. But it's just interesting. You first think of the kids, you think of moms, you think of grandma, but you also work with guys a lot, I'm sure too.
We do. So here, one of the most interesting one for me, how we got to working with our male population, is that we have a legal services in-house, and we started to address all issues, many issues that are preventing someone from either obtaining or retaining clean, decent, affordable housing. And so we wanted to push out that legal services, and we did. And one of the issues that we came upon that our neighbors were struggling with is child support. And I thought, we're going to get a population of women who need child support to maintain their current residence, and we did. But we also had a population of men who were doing the right thing. And I was so happy to see that. Men who were doing the right thing, whose child support weren't going in the right place, or they weren't having connection with their family, and they wanted to do something about that. And I just thought that was so refreshing, that my brothers were out there doing the right thing. And we don't hear that very often. We hear the negative side of it, but we seldom hear the positive side of it. And I think that was one of the heartening things for us to see, is men in our community who are doing the right thing and want to do the right thing.
Well, Gerard Joab, thank you so much for your time. Keep doing what you're doing, an amazing organization. Again, the Executive Director for St Ambrose Housing Aid Center, Gerard Joab, thank you for being on Game Changers.
Thank you so much.